Understanding datasets in EasyMorph can be a bit tricky at first, especially the difference between computed and pre-computed datasets. In this video, we'll look at what they are, when to use each type, and specifically how to get the most out of computed datasets. A dataset in EasyMorph is a single table of data. However, unlike other single table formats such as a CSV file, an EasyMorph dataset can also include filters and simple charts, helping users to explore and understand the data. These additional features we call the analysis view. Both pre-computed and computed datasets result from running EasyMorph workflows, and so can contain data from many different sources, extracted, combined, and transformed however needed. So how do they differ? Pre-computed datasets are stored by an EasyMorph workflow as a .dset file when the workflow is run. Because they are generated in advance and saved, pre-computed datasets can be accessed by users almost immediately when needed. It's important to note that pre-computed datasets aren't entirely static, as the data they contain can be updated whenever the workflow creating them is rerun. For more information on EasyMorph.dset files, see our recent video linked below. In contrast, computed datasets are generated on demand when a user requests them. The relevant EasyMorph workflow is run, and the resulting table of data is returned directly to the user without it being saved as a file first. This means computed datasets always return the very latest data to the user. However, because they are computed on the fly, if large volumes of data are returned, or if the workflow performs complex transformational steps, it may take some time for the dataset to be returned to the user. Additionally, computed datasets can be considered as a data virtualization layer. Business users can request a dataset that is relevant to them without any knowledge of which database, file, or business systems the data is stored in, and how it needs to be extracted, combined, and transformed. They simply request the dataset, and the underlying EasyMorph workflow takes care of the rest. Another big benefit of computed datasets is that they can be dynamic. EasyMorph workflows can contain parameters, which can be used by the workflow to control its behavior. Because a computed dataset is an EasyMorph workflow, users can enter parameter values as they request the dataset. For example, the workflow could prompt the user to enter a start and end date, and the workflow can then extract only data between these two dates to return in the dataset. If we look at an EasyMorph workflow, we can see that it can be made up of more than one table. We therefore need to tell EasyMorph which table's result should be returned when the workflow is used as a computed dataset. Doing so is easy. Simply right-click on the header of the table and select Flag as Default Result Table. A red flag symbol will then appear in the table's header, indicating it will be the table which is returned as the computed dataset. Pre-computed and computed datasets are the most common asset types added to the EasyMorph Explorer Catalog. When adding a pre-computed dataset to the catalog, we select the .dset file containing the dataset. When adding a computed dataset, we instead select the EasyMorph project or .morph file, which should be run to generate the dataset. One big benefit of computed datasets and their ability to generate the table of data dynamically based on parameters is that they can be added as commands to other datasets in the catalog. These commands can populate the workflow's parameters based on specific values selected by the user. For example, in this dataset, I can see that the industries are shown in blue, indicating a command has been attached. If I click on a specific industry and select the customer's command, it calls another calculated dataset, passing the industry I clicked as a parameter, which the workflow can then use to extract a list of all customers in that industry. And the resulting calculated dataset can also link to other calculated datasets, allowing the user to drill into and explore the data. Calculated datasets and catalog commands, therefore, offer a powerful ability to interlink datasets into a rich web of data. For more information on the EasyMorph Explorer Catalog and the different dataset asset types, see our recent video linked below. Both pre-computed and computed datasets can provide business information to users when they need it, independent of which business system it may originate from. Neither is necessarily better than the other, with each having its own pros and cons. Pre-computed datasets can be a snapshot in time, and as they are already calculated and stored, they can be accessed immediately when needed. Computed datasets can provide the very latest up-to-date data and can tailor it to a user's specific needs, but they can take time to retrieve, especially if the dataset returned is large or the workflow generating it is particularly complex. And both can provide not only a table of data, but also an analysis view offering filters and charts for users to explore the data and understand it better.